I have done an incredible field trip of Arkansas, getting to visit the fabulous artist Bill McNamara today. We took a wrong turn and ended up in
Yes, you did.
Branson. No, say-
Branson.
no.
Dog Patch.
Dog. Actually, we did go by Dog Patch.
I know. That's where you called me from, and that's 20 miles east. I'm an hour east of here.
Yeah, well,
But it's beautiful country.
it is beautiful country, so I love it. Melanie and I had a great little
Yeah.
road trip. So I have a photo that is right there of a painting that I love of James that you are the star of the show in.
Yes. I didn't even know that painting. I've never seen it.
That's what's so amazing.
Because he did another one that I do remember of me standing in a pool with, but I was standing about waist deep, and there were.
So you actually were in a pool of water that he.
Yeah.
How long were you standing in a pool of water?
Oh no, I didn't. He didn't do it for me. Standing in that, he made it up. I mean, he may have used my face.
Right.
But,
that's the whole thing. It's like he locks on to someone's essence.
Yes.
And I love it that he did that. He did this painting of you.
Yeah.
And you don't even know he did that painting of you.
No, I didn't. I didn't know.
Well, I want to ask you, when did you and James meet for the first time? Do you remember?
Well, I was trying to think, and I'm not sure. I believe he was in a gallery next to one I was in, and I met him through that. But it would have been somewhere, late 40s, our late 40s and early 50s. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I know this lady, Sandra Sinar, was living on, gosh, can't even remember the name of that street now.
Is it Douglas?
No, it's up on top. When you're coming around on White Street and then you turn left.
Okay.
And he used to be there a lot. And then she bought a place down on Steel Street down the bottom there. But I don't know. We used to go to parties and just do stuff.
What was the artist scene like back then?
Well,
were you living in Eureka? Or
no, I was still living out here. I just was dating a lady there and spent some time there. I don't know that I thought of the artist scene much, there were a few of us. James was about the only one I really considered really up there.
Well, he considered you really up there.
Well,
and I know that, I know he had so much admiration for you as a fellow artist.
Yeah, well,
and I guess as a model.
Well, we didn't. I think we were over at his house a couple times, and he did some drawings of me, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time having to stand there modeling.
You know what's interesting about the drawings is that we're moving into the third year in August since James left planet Earth. And
has it been that long?
It's been 3 years, and
it seemed like the other day.
And each year there's a new phase that we add to the Legacy Project. The first one was just getting that website, and then having the first exhibit that he was part of in 16 years. But this second year has been so exciting because it's just rediscovering his art and the stories behind the art. And I've been so mesmerized with this tiny, tiny little painting of you. And one of the questions,
do you have the original?
No, I don't know where it is, and that's what we do for people.
I don't know who has the other one.
Well, that's my job, is to find out.
Anybody
and
out there know where it is.
It's more than finding the art, but it's to make sure it's photographed well. But also,
you want to catalog everything.
Exactly. Have you always been an artist?
Since I was one?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. The story is they put a brush in my hand and set me on the floor, and I just painted until it was all black.
I love that. Because when I meet some of the people like Denise Ryan and you, because you had great regard for Denise too, and Max Elbow.
I met Max, but just barely. He was almost reclusive when I knew during that period.
All of you rascally little reclusive artists.
We hung out with Selena a little more.
Yeah, and she says hello.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
She's on my text chain with Karen Singleton.
I always enjoy her.
Yeah. But
my mother was an amateur artist. She was actually a retoucher for newspaper, where they took out the hairs.
Really?
Light and shadows, or made them whatever, before they had, now they.
Right.
And then after, I don't know, I also remember at the end she was doing coloring things. They would do a matte, and then she would color it real pastel like. I don't know. But she always had the stuff there.
So you had the stuff.
Yes, that makes, if you got a brush in your hand,
right.
And it was a game play for me. We didn't have computers and stuff.
No.
I could draw stories for myself. I don't know.
That's funny because I post one of the things that is posted. I have the first little book of James called The Easter Rabbit.
Yeah.
And it's by Jimmy Yale, age 5.
There you go.
And, because his grandmother was his first teacher.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
he'd sit on her lap and learn piano.
Yeah.
And she'd open these gorgeous books and plates of fairies and mythical creatures
That's
and
neat.
illustrated Bibles. But,
I hardly, we lived in a very rural, at the time, area, and I hardly knew what art, other than very few things that I know about it. My mother took a correspondence course for 3 years when I was like 10, and she was coming down with her disease, Huntington's, and
oh golly,
and she, I after about the third one, I just took it over. I didn't really mean to take it over, but I finished them for her.
Right.
So it helped me a lot in a weird sort of way.
Did you, because so much of your artwork is around nature, and I know not only was James's first teacher his grandmother from 0 to 6,
yes,
but it was nature.
Yeah, I don't know. I did a little bit of everything, you know. I mean, I'd always painted nature, but not exclusively at all. You were chasing every artist I could run across at the time. You know, growing up, we take me to the library and I could get a book on how to, and I would try to do my own work with their styles, and I went through a whole bunch of those. And then, I don't know, I got a scholarship to Centenary College, and it was really a math scholarship. I had thought I was going into architecture like James did, but they didn't teach architecture, and so I took a double math art. And after a couple of years, I dropped the math and picked up literature, and then ended up teaching there afterwards for 7 years, or moved up here.
I love that. One of the things that I've always wrangled you artist types to make sure you hit the deadline, and I always have to I have to lie to you about the deadline. I always tell them 2 weeks earlier than it really is, but
you should probably tell them a month earlier.
Well, with James, it was a freaking year on the artery panel. But one of the things that I'm learning with these interviews is that I'm trying. One thing I think one of the legacies I want to convey to people about James Yale, the artist, is that he wanted you to see deeper into paintings, not just his, but see deeper into paintings and create your own stories, as well as nature. I mean, if I'm going to, have a bully pulpit, it's about slowing down and seeing.
Well, we differed somewhat. None of my paintings have stories. I think of them as almost abstracts, most of them. I mean, when they're people immediately make up stories and personality, whether they're right or wrong. But I don't know. I painted abstracts for years too.
There's stories in your abstracts.
Yeah, I don't know, just a series of choices I made. I studied under a guy named Willard Cooper, who was really perfect for me because he would let me go all kinds of directions. And
where was he?
He was at Centenary.
Okay.
He had taken over after Don Brown died in '58, who had written a whole bunch of things about the Caddo Indians, and I wrote him a letter on the day he died. But Willard was really, I don't know, he was almost like a second father. I've known him for years.
Right.
And when I was in graduate school, I could have painted like he did or abstract or something, but I just sat down in front of something and started painting. Somewhere we were traveling around the United States in a camper in the summer of '70, and I had my watercolors. You know, at the time, I thought you had to have a watercolor done in 2 hours at most. And somewhere up in Idaho, beside the Big Wood River, they call it, I started doing this little painting, and I sat there for about 9 hours, and then came back the next day. You know, and I at the time there was so many words involved in painting, and I kind of got into the Eastern thing where more less words, and I don't know, I just let it go. But probably if I hadn't had all that earlier learning to draw and stuff, it would have been different, you know. But that's the way it came out, and I don't know why. There are times in the middle of a painting I think, gosh, I could have done paintings that didn't take so long.
Wow.
But now, I mean, I don't know. I made a decision back then not to, just to whatever attracted my eye to try to paint, and not worry about technique or words, which get you into some strange places because I started painting negatively. I don't know, both sides, and it takes a while now. I don't even think about it. You know, you do it so much. I do some oils, but I think most of James was oils, wasn't he? I mean, he did some other
He did
stuff. I know he
everything.
did.
I mean, I think in the end,
Yeah,
especially the 80s, because he was a working artist, you know,
yeah,
I think that he decided I'm going to paint for myself now.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then the MS came in, and then he had to
yeah.
be extra selective on what he decided. But I love it how you all lock into something that just you want to see it done. I mean, something
It just kind of
speaks to
bugs
you.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to need to know when to stop,
Right.
but I don't seem to have that trouble now.
You know, I'm more of a writer. You
Yeah,
know, like I said, I'm an artist wrangler. I'm not an
yeah,
artist in that way,
yeah.
and that's the whole thing. When do you know when you hit the
It's the
finish
same with
line?
writing. You got to know when you've
Yeah,
done enough, or should stop, or
yeah.
should cut.
It's all of a sudden like, oh, I'm here
I
already.
wanted to be a writer, not an artist. I had a choice. I could go to graduate school. I got a letter from, I can't remember his name now, that was head of the creative writing department. I think he formed it at University of Arkansas, and I could have gone there, but I taught for 2 years with an undergrad, 3 years, 2 years with an undergraduate degree, and then went to graduate school. But see, I had a job. If I came back, I thought, well, I can take the job and write.
Right.
And I have like 8 novels stashed
Really?
away. Yeah.
Well, if you ever need a reader, let me
Oh, I'll
know.
do
I would
that.
love that.
I'll
You
do
know,
that.
James was a writer
I
also,
knew that
so
too.
yeah.
I never got around to reading it, but he never offered. But I knew he did some writing.
Right.
He didn't y'all do a book of his?
He
I thought.
does have a book out. It's called A Delicate Balance. And
Yeah,
you know, when I was doing the artery,
yeah.
and you know, the artists got to have that space for 1 year with these big 4x8 panels, and
Uh,
when it sold, you could do another one. And luckily, his panel never went outside,
yeah.
and so I was, golly, mister, I'll bring you another panel, you know. And I missed the date, and I said, I'm sorry, I usually always show up when I say I'm going to do, but I'm this close to finishing my book. He's like, your book, we must talk. And so I ended up coming out there and thinking, how does this guy make it? You know, I thought, look, can I run some errands for you, blah, blah, blah. And then we sat down, and he asked me about my book, and then we talked a little bit about that. And then he went and brought this under his bed. It was 600 pages
Yeah, I knew
that
it
he
was
had
long.
written.
He told me about it.
And I read
But
it.
see, I knew he didn't do any publishing or anything till after we. I mean, we were still knew each other,
Well, when I read it, I
but
got to the 600 page. I said, oh no, you have to finish this book.
you have to finish it.
And he did. He
Yeah,
actually, it ended up
that's
being
good.
3 books.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's out on Amazon
Oh
somewhere.
well, I'll have to look it up.
People ask me, how do you, you know, choose, where does this adventure take you? How do you know who you're going to interview next? And I was actually at a memorial service, but I had you on my list to find you. And I talked to Donnice Woodside, and she interviewed you a long time ago. And she said, well, I'll try to get a hold of him, blah, blah, blah. Well, I sat next to Karen Mills, and I'm
Yeah.
not there to talk about what I'm doing because we're at a memorial service.
Yeah.
But I heard her say something, Bill McNamara, like,
Yeah. We go back Well, actually, we went to the same college. She was a suite mate with my ex-wife. But we also judged a bunch of art shows down in Louisiana together. Her ex-husband was good friends with my good friend. We kind of got to know each other.
Yeah, I always like the calling card introduction, so I'm just not calling someone out of the blue and they're thinking, this is some sales call or something.
Yeah.
But it was so great because, and that's where there's all of a sudden a twist and turn for these interviews where I'm getting ready to show you, tell me about this painting that I just love of you. Mm-hmm. And then you said, I haven't seen it, but he painted this other painting of you. Yes. And so there's the question of, gosh, I wonder where is it?
See, he probably painted it when we were together. I mean, running around.
Right.
Together.
So would that have been in the 70s, 80s?
No, it'd have been probably into the 90s.
Really?
Well, I can't remember exactly.
Because in the 90s, he would have been living at the house by the lake.
Yeah.
So did you visit him there?
Yeah. That's the only place I ever visited. The day we were there, nobody knew what happened with the sliding glass doors that go out the back.
Yes.
I don't know. They just broke into 1,000 little square pieces.
Just out of the blue?
Yeah. Like you put something in the oven, it gets too hot and you pour water in Pyrex, it goes like that.
Were you just minding your own beeswax and things?
Well, it happened just before we got there, but he said, nobody was even near it or doing anything.
Well, there's some other.
He had explanations.
Well, I moved. It's a heart project for me, and whatever it is you do, whether you're a chef or an artist, you're moving from what's genuine, in you, I guess. So
my boys we've been working the last 2 days, changing my house over there, cleaning it up. I don't know. I went on a 10-year hiatus. Just if you paint, you can ignore everything else. But I don't know. I can only paint so much a day.
That's what James learned too. It was a hard thing for me. I used to knock out these paintings, blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's may take me months, and I don't want to be hurried doing it.
In fact, if you push on me, it slows me down.
Yeah, no, I respect that.
But I was lucky. Nobody really pushed me much.
No.
I mean, they would suggest, but I've still not painted the elk or Whitaker Point. I did a painting years ago from Whitaker Point, not knowing it was even anything special. Well, I knew Dr. Compton had taken me there the first time, but it wasn't hardly known then. Mm-hmm. I walked under it and saw it from a distance for 10 years before I actually saw it the way everybody walks in to see it. You know what I'm speaking of?
No.
Well, a mile down the road is a trailhead, and it's about a mile and a half. And you go down, and it's this cantilevered point, Hawksbill Crag, they call it.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, see, he took me to a place further down where you could look up and down the river, several miles. But this one, it's not, the view from it is not what people go to see. Look at the back of the final photograph in that book. It shows a picture of it.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know who Tim Ernst?
I do know who he is. I've never.
Yeah, well, he used to live on the mountain.
Open it. Here.
I'll show you. That's his house, I think.
This beautiful book. How do people find this book?
This book is out of print and nobody can find it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know how people find things, but I don't know.
I don't know how people find things either, but that's what the magic is.
I thought it's in here somewhere. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Can you catch this?
He wished he hadn't done that because I think 12 people have fallen off since I've been here.
That's terrible.
All but.
What a gorgeous book, and I love it. It's actually spring now here in the Ozarks, or a little bit early.
Yeah, did y'all notice the daffodils coming down?
So beautiful. I moved here 24 years ago, the day the redbuds bloomed.
Yeah.
And today they just came out, so it's kind of a.
We came up to first found this land. The dogwoods are in bloom, and everything was dripping and wet. Wasn't that a way in July and August?
Yes.
It can be both extremes here.
I so appreciate you so much.
Well,
if people want to see your artwork and they live in Timbuktu, how do they find you?
Well, there's a website now. I don't know. Chris runs it.
Is it?
Get in touch with Chris.
They just look up William McNamara.
Yeah, if you just put William McNamara, Arkansas artist, you'll get all kinds of things.
All right. Well, I think you should type in
but
William McNamara.
Chris could tell you where ours. It's his site, and he's going to sell this book, and he does reproductions, and he doesn't do the originals over the internet. They've gotten so expensive. But he's selling that book and some other books that are coming out that are ready, except for a few details at the end and printing them.
Well, one day I need to probably let this little family, collaborate together, because eventually that's where once I keep finding all the rediscovered art of James, I'd love to do something like that.
Well, I'd like Chris to see them, and I'd like Chris to show some of them to the people that. Well, it's run by the Walton grandsons.
Well,
Sam, but they've hired this guy from. Chris could tell you his name and all. From who's used to work at Crystal Bridges, but he now lives in Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Right.
But he comes every often. He runs it for him, and it's purely designed to promote Arkansas artists.
Well, I can't think of a better two Arkansas artists than you and James. And
yeah, I would like him to see that. They should have some of his. I mean, I think Tyson's has a little bit of his.
They have his corporate art. Yeah. In fact, we just did an interview. He did the corporate paintings of the Tysons after they're not on the planet anymore.
Yeah.
But when Don Tyson died, they wanted a certain Happy Don, and he painted the Don Tyson portrait he wanted. And so I did an interview with Rachel Hawkins, that was one of James's art students, last week. And just to tell the story, about, the story behind the Don Tyson painting. So, well, let's just see where this all leads after.
Yeah, I think I would consider him, top tier artist in this area. Everybody should know him. Not the whole country, but.
Yeah, well, again, that's where I want to send that out to people. It's just, I had a dream when I'd written a book about our story, and I had a dream that said, just tell the truth. And I think that's true for whatever you do.
You can figure it out.
Well, it's like, I have to tell it as best the truth I can about James Yale, and that's where you all come in, because I knew my husband, but I didn't know the artist before I came into his life.
The problem I have is I can tell people exactly the truth, but they make up a whole nother story, which they see it. In some degree, it's a lot of work,
Well, you insert yourself into the ding dang story.
And isolated work, but they can't think of anything more romantic and adventurous than to live out in the mountains and paint for a living.
Right.
Yeah, they had to chop firewood and haul water in the sea.
Yeah, I know.
Out here, you're responsible. There's no such thing as a water system or sewer system. You take care of it all.
It's such an honor, and it's such a big project, to take care of all this art. And I've been so lucky to meet one of the art professors from the community college that has joined me as a curator, that can go through, has carte blanche to go through James's archives and really understand, because I'm just a regular Jill that think, gee, that painting's pretty, to really understand all of the work and concentration that you all put in to create these incredible masterpieces.
And I know he had tons of correspondence and letters and stuff, because he showed me a thing from John Lennon one time. Just different, and all those are historical items.
They are
nowadays.
That's another campfire story.